Hi everyone, so it's Monday, August 14th. I'm going to schedule this to go out this Wednesday. So the way that my guardian angels, my guides, are presenting this information to me is they're showing me as the presenter in front of an audience. And so while I'm going to have a very specific message for an individual out there, they want you to be aware that they are here with you. Your guides and your guardian angels, your passed away loved ones, are here with you. And you are guided here for a reason. And you're also guided to click off, or if your phone shuts off or it goes to another video, that is your time to move on from this video, right? Just trust yourself, trust your intuition. And also, there may be things that resonate with you in this video for whatever reason it comes through. So I'm talking to a male, like watching my video, and I'm getting the words weak pulse, and this comes through in multiple ways. Weak pulse in like a literal way, so there may be someone surrounding you that has a weak pulse, but there's also the weak pulse between us, as in I can feel you, but it feels like your resolve is weak. Your resolve in connecting to the light, your resolve in connecting to others, and also you just kind of, I feel like you've been listening to my videos, you've been watching my videos, and it feels more like you're just kind of interested, curious, you're not interacting, but you're just kind of wondering what I'm about, wondering what I'm doing, wondering what I'm saying, food for thought, kind of, you know, just kind of seeing what's up. And it feels like I must have done videos on people that you are aware of. And then I did a video and I mentioned the name Stacy, and I don't know if it's that same person coming through or if there's a Stacy connected to you that's coming through. No. They're saying that when I said it that time, that it was specific to someone else, but that was a precursor to today. So there's a Stacy, there's something like Deborah, something like that. There's women names. I'm seeing like two people crossed over, with an emphasis on the female. Okay, feels like an older female. She has darker, maybe my color, like on the lighter end of my color, and a little kind of short, like maybe around here. Very friendly, very nice. She seems to have a medium to thin frame, and Puppa or Buppa, there's something with a name or a term of endearment that's like da 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 da, and so there's that. I have a song that I wrote down prior to pressing record, and I'm gonna link it below. It's She Likes Spring, I Prefer Winter. And so I'm getting that specifically to say this is kind of the energy or the vibe that I'm getting that you want in a relationship. You want a connection, where it's kind of this like cutesy, innocent, accepting, wholesome type of love. But you didn't receive that in your life from your mother, and so it feels like a generational curse. It feels attempt at a generational curse from the mother's side, and it's this self-belief you have of being cursed, or it's a belief because it's not reality. It feels like an attempt at a curse on your behalf, of her children's behalf. But you were old enough to have autonomy. I mean, you always are, but I'm basically saying that you were not young enough to be more of spirit than of earth, right? There's a transitory period where over the course of several years with the baby, that the baby becomes more aware, right? And they become more human than they are of an angel or of a spirit, right? And connecting so much with the spiritual realm, you know, that's their main mode of communication. And so when the baby is still very young, there can be attempts to curse their own child, and it feels like you were older than that, is what it feels. But you have this self-limiting belief, this self-belief that you are cursed. It's kind of a fallback because you never got that. You didn't get, I'm not gonna say you never got it, but you didn't get it in the way that you needed. Support, love, protection, affection, sincerity. Okay, she was very selfish. She is very selfish. Parent, very selfish parent, and short-sighted and ignorant. And then they're saying how they're saying this is between you and God. That's what they're saying. They're saying this isn't between you and her. This isn't between her and her pacts or her negligence or her lack. This is between you and God. This is who do you swear yourself off to, right? Like where do you draw your courage? Where do you draw your life force from? Don't give yourself excuses, right? You're getting into relationships or connections with individuals that are going to reflect back to you. In essence, what it is it's a way for you to find people who are, because it feels like a relapse, or yeah, it feels like like you're going back into some really bad habit. And it's because, you know, you're going independently to become stronger individual, but it's very exhausting, right? Doing work on yourself is it's a lot of, it takes a very strong person, a strong-willed person to do that. And so it seems as if you were trying to find an easy way out of doing it by getting into connections or relationships with individuals that are suffering themselves, misguided, naive, ignorant themselves. So you're knowingly doing that, whether you admit it publicly or not, you know, or even to yourself, because they will cause you to slip back into old habits. Granted, they don't have I was gonna say responsibilities, but like it's not their responsibility to kind of put you in a situation. You get what I'm saying? Like it's your responsibility over yourself, irregardless of your environment, right? You are old enough that you are not a product of your environment. Like you have complete control over you and your decisions, your thoughts, your behaviors, your beliefs, so on and so forth. So you were putting yourself in temptation's way, in the devil's way, in order to give yourself the excuse to slip up. But at the root of it, it is because you have a savior complex, in the sense that you want that relationship partner to save you, knowing that they won't, because it is that perpetual cycle of you wanting your parental figure, your mother, whomever it is, to save you. right? Where they couldn't, where they didn't. So you're putting yourself into a trauma cycle by doing that. And you're looking, so that's one thing to kind of even highlight. I did a video recently where I said self-care as you ascend, and you're descending, and the people surrounding you, for the most part, at least that I'm talking about with this, are descending. They're not ascended. In order for you to be a practitioner in this, a good practitioner, right? A righteous practitioner, right? Anyone can be a doctor. Anyone can, I mean, not anyone, but you know, you can go to schooling for that. But that's the kind of the key that I'm getting here, which is that intention is not enough. To have good intentions is not enough. You have to be educated. You have to balance that, right? Just because you go into something, you know, let's say, you know, I don't know, I don't want to even use a pet groomer, but that's the example I'm getting for some reason. But like, because a pet groomer, I feel kind of could be more aware, and they use razors and like sharp material. So, but just go with me. Like, a pet groomer is not going to go into a like hospital setting, like a neurosurgeon, and go do that and say, well, I had good intentions, and then be good at it, right? Like, it takes a whole slew of things. It needs practice, it needs education, it needs some intuitive backing behind it, it needs dedication, it needs intention, like all of that, right? And there's good and bad neuroscientists as well, or neuroscientists, anyway, you get it, neurosurgeons, but all kinds of different things that are incorporated into it. And then when you also think about spiritual practitioners, it's of spirit, right? So the leaders of which are guiding that kind of education is someone on the other side, right? And if you're not following the light, right, it doesn't matter which God, like, name that is chosen, right? Because different cultures are naming the God of light, the creator, by different names. So it's not that, but it's still the same God under different names for each culture, right? And so if you're lost, if you're naive, if you're not supposed to be doing this, and you're forcing yourself to do something that isn't your purpose, that you're not even good at, just because you want to do it, you're going to be misled, because the devil's going to be there to tempt you into the mystery, into the answers, into whatever it is that you're seeking, because you're seeking it from an egotistical point of view, even if you don't, or a naive point of view, right? Because why force something that is not meant for you? But how do you know if it's not meant for you? Is because you have to know more about yourself to even know that. Basically, what I'm getting is that this person, there's someone you're surrounded by who is doing this, and they're being guided towards something incorrect, and it's just pulling you even deeper, further away from you even getting to the root of what your purpose is. And they're kind of like dog tagging that. They're like, you need to go back to that, but talk about something else real quick. So with the video of, like, you know, self-care as you ascend, I do need to highlight something in that, because it feels like you would have watched that video, or it feels like there's multiple things around you, or people around you. So I don't know, you're watching my videos with another person, or it just so happens that this other person is watching my videos too. That's not going to resonate for you guys. That resonates for a select few people, because they're ascending, right? And they know that, you know, whether you use crosses, whether you use whatever kind of amulets, crystals, whatever, saging, whatever it is that you're doing, they are practitioners meant to do that, of the light, of God's source, not misguided energies, right? Because there are many people who attempt to rid others of their demons and get that attached to them, because they have too many dark windows for the devil to come in, for evil to come in. And they're just highlighting like all kinds of demons. Like there are spirits that have always been, always will be of spirit. They will never be inhabiting a human, and they are dedicated to darkness, and that's it. There's no other way. And that can manifest as someone spiritually who is trying to gain your trust, gain sympathy, gain friendship, and yet that's not the truth. If you believe that someone is your friend on the other side that obviously has a reputation of something dark, it's not a it is a misunderstanding, but it's also, you do not befriend someone who will hurt you. Does that make sense? That needs to make sense to the person that I'm doing this, because it's somehow relevant here. So that's very general. And so don't take that out of context. Anyone else? Okay. So, your purpose is not your purpose in life. You don't know your purpose in life, and you want to know, but for you specifically, you're not going to know your purpose. No one's going to tell you your purpose. And that actually does go for, I'm drooling, sorry. That actually goes for a lot of people. You know, you can kind of say no one really knows but you what your purpose is in life. No one can tell you that. But as far as like spiritually speaking, sometimes people can guide you, right? Sometimes that is known to people. Sometimes that is told to people. That is, and then it's just confirmed within you. For you, nothing is going to confirm that for you. It's a process of elimination. It's deducing to what your purpose is. So it's you need to be real with yourself, because there's a lack of authenticity that comes from you that's so buried that you don't even know how to be honest with yourself. And so you need to start being honest with yourself. And how do you do that? Is you start really being real about things that you enjoy, that actually fulfill you, that actually make you happy, and do a little bit more of that every day. And so then that helps you identify the things that are not making you happy, that may be temporary highs, that may be shallow, right? It feels like it's this short term, but it leaves you empty. So then you do less of that, right? And so from there, you can start building yourself closer to your purpose, because you're starting to live in an energy of being satisfied, of being satiated, of being content, of being fulfilled, of being happy. And doing so is going to help you have a breakthrough, aha moment. But that will only happen if you commit yourself and choose to do that. That's not going to happen by fate. That's not going to happen by destiny. What's going to happen by fate and destiny is something life-changing, and it's not going to feel good, and it's going to happen. I'm getting like this feeling of falling back. There's a fallback. It's like tripping. It's a feeling of tripping and then falling back and like trying to grab on someone or something. And it's like that. And that's going to be a moment that is not a wake-up call, because it feels like you're not really present for it. Like it happens, but you're just, there's nothing, like you're not registering. And so it's you actually facing what happened and saying to yourself, is this something that I'm comfortable doing? And that something means giving up on my life, is giving up on my life and giving myself up to not living, right? Like you are actively, by doing so, you are actively choosing not to live in authenticity and live for your purpose and live for your life and live in the light. That would be your choice. It's essentially you living with not being alive, right? Like you're not gonna really be here, and you're gonna be destined to repeat this whole cycle until you get it together. And is that something you want to do? I mean, you're already here now. You might as well just try. You might as well just do it, so you don't have to repeat some of that stuff, right? Just do it now. So I'm getting another channeled song, and I'm gonna link it below. And then the third song and a fourth song. Okay, so first song channeled, second song channeled, third song, it's called Altar. And they're noting there's a vibrational difference to that song and the number 2, and then I'm gonna put a number 4 song. There's a vibrational difference in number 3 song, Altar, and they're saying that does not resonate with you, or that's not, like, that doesn't resonate with what I'm saying. It almost feels as if like it's a very shallow song. It's like kind of masking as it's like they're saying, pay attention to the energy, pay attention to the lyrics, pay attention to how you feel. And so it's kind of feels like this, it's like a false prophet kind of energy, where it's saying, you know, isn't this relatable, or isn't this, you know, good? Isn't this all of this kind of thing? But it feels insincere, basically. Like number 3, Altar, it feels insincere. It feels like they did this song in order to like the purpose is the intention is good, like they want people to go to God or whatever, but it comes from a very insincere place also. So it's like my it's like both, because it's like, well, we want them to do that, but it's also ego of saying we want to be popular, or we want, you know, to be rich, or we want, like, there's something vibrationally that's off, and they want you to connect and see if you can feel that in the music, because that's going to help you kind of navigate, or not navigate, because I don't think you have a problem with this. I really don't. Maybe I'm wording it as if you do, but I don't think you have a problem with this. It's just that you don't want to do it right now. I think you're just kind of feeling like a weak pulse, like you're giving up a little bit, and so the pulse is still there. You can get yourself back strong again, but you have to, you know, take care of yourself. And so they're saying compare it to 2 and 4 vibrationally. And so does 3 leave you hungry? Does that still leave you unsatisfied? And connect that and see that in your life. And don't worry about hurting other people or looking bad or looking a certain way. If you are being honest with people in your life and kind of being seemingly wishy-washy. You know, it's important that you do this, and in spirit they are going to appreciate that. I mean, that does wonders for everyone to live in your truth. And so people will forgive you, whether they are consciously forgiving you or not. In spirit, things will kind of come back into order with that. And then number 5 is actually an album, and I'll put this in like my extra when you need it tab, because this is what I actually meditate to. So I normally just meditate in quiet, but this I actually listen to all the time, not all the time, but I have it on CD, and I will blast this and meditate to this. And they're bringing this up, so I don't know if you are traditionally some form of you know, religion, or if you're baptized into a particular religion, or whatever, or this is something that could benefit you in some way as far as like the religion aspect goes, like kind of having a structure of light, right, to kind of help guide you. Yeah. It feels like that person that I'm picking up on, it feels like an energy of like maybe you're in a connection with someone that you're disappointed in something about them. It feels like they let you down in some way. They aren't the person that they claim to be. You know, it feels like they kind of sold themselves bigger than what they really are, and so it's left you kind of disappointed. Also because I think on some level you were kind of hopeful that things could work out, or like things could be like different. It's like when we go back to that first song, that craving that you have to have a wholesome, innocent connection, but you knew on some level that that is not what this would have been. It could be a step towards that direction, but you have to, in order to have what it is that you desire, you have to become the person that you feel would even kind of be, honestly, be worthy of a distinct relationship like that. You have to step it up. You have to step up and be that person. Because I think, but this is what I'm saying, so I'm just, anyway, that level, that caliber of person that you're interested in, you aren't even, you're too intimidated by that anyway. It's what you want, but you're intimidated by it because there's a feeling that you aren't deserving. And it's not that you don't necessarily deserve it, it's that right now where you're at, you would not maintain at that level because you're not at that frequency, you're not at that energy. So you have to be a vibrational match. And so that comes with authenticity, right? Like what you get is what you deserve currently. And that's not something that you would want to hear because you deep down feel like you could do better or should do better than someone who is like you feel like you know better or something, like whatever you're doing, it's like, well, I know better. Like, not in an arrogant way. It's just like, it's like the things I'm saying, like, you already get. And I think that's why you're even on this channel. I'll go from here. Well, listen, basically what I'm getting is the first step in all of this is you've watched through this whole video. I mean, it's very, very strong. And so in that, know that I see you. Yes, I have accurately perceived you. And it's really up to you on where to go from here in your life. Because I'm hearing the word temptations again, and I'm looking at this, just the bottom of the deck. It says ritual. It's a red fox, and I actually saw a fox this morning, and I totally forgot about it until now, because I felt your energy this morning, and I was like, okay, now I know I'm going to do a video on this, and this was a sign. It's coming through again. So I would look into the spiritual meaning of a fox, a red fox. It was a red fox. And seeing this in two ways. In like the positive way, the spiritual meaning of it is going to be very positive. But also, there's what I'm hearing is like you can't tempt the tempter. So it's like you can't outrun the devil by, like, if you give in, you know, you take the candy from the devil and think that you can outsmart it and run away from it. Because what you're not going to realize is you think you're taking the candy and you're going to run, but it's actually a trap, right? It's a little, how I caught the cats. A little rodent trap. I got a big one. I had a small one, the kittens, but they all fit into the big ones. Or did one go? It doesn't matter. It is a big one, so it's fine. For you, I mean, not that it matters. With the cats, but it actually matters for this, where it feels like you don't know how bad it can get. Like, you really don't know. Like, you cannot perceive how bad it can get. Like, think about the worst experience you've had thus far in your life. You can perceive times 10 times 100 to some capacity. You cannot perceive a number that is not, you know, spoken of in this life, because you can only draw on your own experiences to decide what that threshold is. This supersedes the threshold of destruction, demise, of utter disturbance. It's like an internal disturbance where you just want to like scratch yourself to pieces. That's how dangerous this can be for you. if you so choose to think that you can outsmart anyone, honestly, because you having a tendency to do that and to feel as if you can do that and you're that kind of person means you are living for the devil. Who are you to treat anyone or treat life as a game, as people's feelings, people's emotions, same thing, but like, why are you gambling on behalf of another, right? And oftentimes, that's why people, they're bringing this up, like with secret societies and all that stuff. It's like, you know, oh, I've never been recruited. Well, if you're already doing the devil's work, why does anyone care for you? Like, you're that foolish, right? They want people who are very, very pure in order to turn them, right? So that kind of also says to me, you're on the precipice of a breakthrough. If you will just pivot and turn, you will actually have a momentous breakthrough that you can reverse what I just said and think of the most pure moment you've ever felt and amplify it as much as you can. And it's inconceivable of what that could be for you in goodness, in love, in warmth, in togetherness, in peace, in confidence. It's this feeling I get if you were to pivot of excited, rushing feeling, excited, rush, 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 rush. And that lasts for a while until it dissipates in such a seamless way of this internal peace, where that internal peace starts over like superseding the excitement, where it's expected. And it's not an expectation in the bored way, in the what is it called when people don't like it, taking something for granted, like that, where it's like you're peaceful because you're kind of taking it for granted. It's not that. It's like you expect, you know, and you honor and you trust and you live in such calm gratitude and stability that like it feels like nothing can touch you. Because they're talking about how like there comes a time in ascension, in ascending, that when you are bringing back to the videos, so this is for other people who I feel they're ascending to a point where evil is grasping at them, trying to keep them lower. And the evil knows that once you get to a certain point, it's like they fall off. They cannot maintain at that frequency. It doesn't exist there. And so as you live in this world, there will always be temptation. There will always be, you know, you can't control other people, right? So people who are dark-sided, on all different kinds of, you know, levels, whether it's just like an online troll or it's like, you know, people who are invoking all this other stuff. And, you know, I'm saying like, they're telling me to say this specifically, so it's like, you know, what is that girl I like? I forgot her name. foodie girl, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, she's like vegan or something, or she's vegetarian, I can't remember. But like back in the day, you know, her website, like she was getting attacks from big pharma and all this kind of stuff because, you know, and just kind of like trying to muddy her name, right? So that, because it's a direct impact on their sales, right? It's a direct impact on their business, and so they're doing all kinds of stuff like that. So it feels like, basically what I'm saying is you can't, that's inescapable as far as reality goes, right? But you can decide within you spiritually how, I'm getting too broad with my statements with that, because some people will never be able to ascend in this lifetime to that way. So forget really I'm saying that, but for you it feels like you can pretty much become a monk if you wanted to, like a good one, not the ones that are out there doing meth and everything. You can actually like really dedicate yourself and make a long-lasting impact. I just see the river flow. You throw a stone and it just ripples and ripples and ripples for generations. You have the capacity to do that. And then I have armadillo here, and they do want me to note something with this, which is you have a superpower, okay? With armadillos, what do they carry? They carry some sort of disease, and on the surface, like, yeah, they have this tough outer shell, but I personally never met an armadillo I couldn't catch if I wanted to. Like, they're very friendly. That I've seen. Florida armadillo are really they just do their own thing. They don't do nothing. Like, they kind of ignore me or whatever. And so it's just feeling like there's something very unknown to the public, very unknown to the vast majority. It's like, yeah, they could say, oh, you're such a strong person, you're so tough, you're so resilient, right? But then on the other hand, they could say, oh, he's so foolish because I'm a big person. I could just go get you and snatch you and make armadillo soup if I wanted to. But you carry diseases. You could actually cause me more harm than is on the surface. And so where I see this as a superpower is like your mind, like the way that you understand or the way that you process, the way that you interpret is, I'm hearing the word finesse. You can use it in two ways. You can finesse, or you can use it to work for the light. And so you shouldn't undermine that weapon that you have. Do you want to use it as a weapon against yourself, so for evil, or do you want to use it a weapon against evil? How do you want to do that? Because they're showing this like manifester, right? And it feels like you are a really good manifester in life. But what the key element that you're missing is God, the light. That's the key element, because you can manifest so much in the world, right? And you can manifest so much even spiritually of drawing it in and then interpreting it and using it for functionality. But is that really your purpose? Probably not. Otherwise you wouldn't be in the situation you're in. You wouldn't feel the way that you feel. You wouldn't be avoiding the things you're avoiding, right? I mean, we all kind of go through our own processes, but you're at a different level. You're in a not a good level, very dark level. whether it looks like that on the surface or not, which I think it kind of does. There are some key indicators I think people have pick up on. Maybe you don't think that it's so obvious, or you don't care, you know it's obvious, but you're telling yourself, oh, maybe not so much. So you're about to fall down hard if you don't nip this in the bud now. Which is your decision. You have to really decide yourself and swear yourself off completely to the light. Like, repent, completely turn away and repent. That means not allowing just a tiny minuscule monochrome of something dark. It cannot exist in your life, in your belief system and everything. And so anyway, they're giving me this example of like manifesting is like, okay, what would be an example? Is like, I financially am struggling. I can't seem to catch up. I can't seem to get a grip. I can't seem to be where it is that I believe I can be, or I believe that I should be, or I believe that I see myself at. And so you have to shift your focus, right? Are you saying, okay, well then, this is like, why I'm getting this example. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna use this. This is what I'm seeing, okay? Uno momento. Okay. Like you're just like a terrible bookie. And you have like psychic, people that you psychic consultants, and then you're like, okay, let me just try and figure myself. I can't do it. I don't care. Like you do it. I don't have time for that, or it's like whatever. If you're right, then I'm just gonna, you suck. You're not that good of a bookie, or it's like you're like low totem, low tier bookie. Okay, and then I feel like not only that, but it's irritating because then you see other people who have, like, they have it made somehow. They're doing the same thing, but they have it made. Or it's like the psychic that you go to is making more money than you, and you're like, what is going, it's like very annoying. I mean, it's not funny, but anyway. But you see where, I mean, that's not good. Why are you doing that, right? Why are you, literally think about it for a second. You're using spirituality for entertainment and for financial gain. Like, you have the opportunity and the chance to feel God, see God, speak to God, in essence, right? Through angels and whatnot, and transform your life in such a gorgeous way, and yet you're feeding something temporary to begin with and shallow. So why do you want this, right? Like, why are you seeking this? You want to feel comforted, you want to feel safe, you want to feel secure, you want to feel I'm hearing righteous. You want to feel righteous. You want to feel that. But how can I have the time and energy to dedicate myself to this, or to be that, and then I have to go back into the real world and struggle? Well, what are you doing in that moment? You are consulting psychics, and you're even trying to do it yourself. Maybe. So what is it that's making you in any of that happy? Well, when you're connecting to spirit, when you're diving into the mysteries, we'll say that, right? Because we are of spirit. So that's natural for everyone. That's natural for everyone. Aliens, whatever, like whatever you're into. Ghosts, I guess, anything. I mean, it just feels more like spirit, but whatever for you, at least. And so you can feel that sincerity in that. So concentrate more on that. And what if in that, I don't know, do people, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you do, and you start showing, like, this is who I really am. This authentically, this is who I am. And this is my journey. And these are my struggles. And this is what I feel. And this is what I believe. And this is where I'm going. This is what I struggle. Did I say struggle already? Anyway, you really, really be honest. And maybe the gambling aspect, maybe that it feels like kind of like unsuspecting, like it's kind of like I like to have that thrill, like that's exciting to me, that's thrilling to me, but I did muddy it. I will say that I messed it up by adding some, like I'm putting darkness into it, right? And so it's saying, well, I can still do that. He's like, I can encourage and enjoy that kind of stuff because inherently what you're doing there is not that bad. It's like you like the risk. That's what I'm getting. It's like it's just thrilling to you. You know, it's like I don't really want to jump out of a plane. Like I could just like do that from the comfort of a bar or my house or something. I mean, not a bar, but you know, like in my house, you know, just whatever, my phone. And so that's just kind of, it's very innocent at its core. It feels innocent, right? Like it's just a hobby, but you turned it into something that made it important to you, or like dependent on it financially, something like that, right? And then that brought in, right now it's slowly bringing in the devil, because it's like, well, now what do? I need this, I need to do this. So you start compromising, and it just kind of snowballs. And so the advice here is really to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself. And they're showing me wheat, like harvesting wheat. And they're saying the way in which you grow your wheat. They're saying you have been handed a stalk of grains. And it's so simple in essence, because you can just pull it and toss it into the wind and it will land where it may. Now the patience comes in, and the consistency comes in from the watering, right? And the tending and the weeding and all of this. And that actually doesn't feel so bad for you, because it's something that you could enjoy and do enjoy when things are at balance, which they have been at some degree, but you had the avoidance tackled onto it. So that could be enjoyable for you. That makes you feel empowered, makes you feel very masculine too, to do that. And so when you're doing this, knowing that you're going to have a harvest, right? In the imbalanced state, knowing you're going to have the harvest has led you to compromise and say, where can I bring in, farming practices that are terrible for the soil? Where can I bring in all of these things that are, so that you can hoard and get massive amounts and rush it? And now you're compromising on the quality. Now you're using GMO, all this kind of, right? So just know that, like, you need to know where you're content, where you're happy, we know that the weeding and all of this and the patience and everything, that you actually enjoy. You enjoy being that. And so continue to do that. And that harvest will come and you will enjoy that as well. But that's not even, it's like what you truly enjoy is actually the predictability of it, of mastering it, of becoming, you know, a reliable farmer, of becoming an educated farmer, of becoming of being someone who people know that they can go to and to learn your practices and to carry on your practices through lifetimes and to carry on these beliefs and understanding the why behind the reasons you have discovered and do the things that you do. You have a lot to offer in that, but you have to you have to detox. You have to just clear and go back to your roots. Go back to square one with that. I mean, you get it. I don't have to keep repeating or kind of like getting too much more detail and everything. So 7617 is a channel. 7617 is a channel number. So go ahead and just do like Google angel number 7617 and there'll be something there for you also. Bye.